Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. We finally made it. Today is our final pick. Pick 250, compensatory pick, John Williams, offensive guard out of Cincinnati. There's a little bit of news out there we might as well touch on. First of all, NFL announces Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 NFL Draft. So I don't remember who it was. I think it was Beer Cheese Benny said he would love to have the draft in Carolina, but, you know, there's crime or something. You don't have to worry about that, dude. It's not a big deal. I also did see recently that Washington was looking, I don't know how real the rumors were, but possibly looking to get a new stadium. So I don't know how close to in the works maybe that might be, but maybe those two things are coinciding. I don't know how long it would take if they, approve it and get started today. It'd take like a year. Maybe you can do it in an off season. I don't know. I depends if you're kind of renovating or tear down, rebuild, or new location. I'm sure it makes a big difference. But anyway, I was wondering. But that'll be an interesting one, man. I don't know exactly where they're going to host that, but obviously you've got some potential for a pretty incredible draft. Could be a terrible draft. I've been to DC. It wasn't terrible, but it can be. It could be awesome. It could be awful. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but hopefully it's going to go pretty well. I think the NFL's done a really good job. I mean, again, Green Bay really surprised a lot. I think Detroit was the only one that kind of sucked. Lions fans are convinced because of the attendance records that it's the greatest thing in the world when 10% of their city basically stepped outside of their door and they're like, oh, cool, the draft. We got so many people. It's like, yeah, dude, they live there. Who cares? And there was nothing to eat and nothing to do. So freaking well done. Also, as it turns out, it was starting to look this way for a while. I mean, I don't remember exactly the circumstances, but it sounded like it was a done deal at one point, and then it started to sound like it wasn't going to happen, and now it seems to be official that it's not going to happen. The Green Bay Packers will not be playing in Ireland this year, according to a source, and this is Andrew Filipponi, who is Pittsburgh's 937 The Fan radio guy. Steelers will host the Vikings in Ireland September 28th, not the Packers, contrary to popular belief. There's also an interesting theory floating around that part of the reason Aaron Rodgers is kind of dragging his feet on things is if he were to announce early that he was going to be the quarterback of the Steelers, there'd be a ton of primetime games, potentially Packers in Ireland and all this kind of stuff. And he's trying to avoid that. I don't necessarily know why that would be the case, but that is one of the theories, is that he wants to wait at least until after the schedule release before he announces so that they can, I guess, assume he's not there. I don't know. I don't know what you do. By the way, since we're talking about, just interesting little facts, I forgot who it was. This was several days ago, but it just popped into my head. At the NFL Draft, I mentioned what a great family-friendly environment it was. There was only one person that got arrested. Somebody sent me, I think it might have even been an article, I'm not sure, but the one person that got arrested was a Vikings fan. So there you go. What else we got going on here? Justin Tucker just got released. Ravens finally pulled the trigger on that one. He was going through a whole scandal thing. I honestly don't even remember what it was. It was a long time ago. I mean, I know the general category, but I don't know the details. But they looked into it. I'm sure they tried to give him the benefit of the doubt and just got to the point where it was just not going to be a thing. Cardinals signed Josiah DeGuara, formerly of the Jaguars, so he's moving on to the Cardinals, still making a little bit of money out there. Rams and Matthew Stafford finalized a $44 million deal for the 2025 season. That guy is just cashing in. My goodness. As I mentioned, rookie minicamp took place this past week just for, a few days, I guess. They're going to get, my understanding, this next week off, and then they'll be back presumably Monday, Tuesday. And I believe that's going to be phase 2. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more insights into that. But a couple little peeks. Everybody's kind of freaking out about it. In reality, I don't know if you guys have YouTube. subscriptions or you're watching the news or whatever, but man, there are a million videos and all the highlights, and it's like, highlights, dude. We watched guys stretching. I don't know what you're talking about. But one of the guys that people are talking about is Canadian quarterback Taylor Elgersma. Couple things about him. I mean, the big quote that everybody's latching on to is that he's got a live arm, I think was the quote. Yeah, live arm, and a lot to like about him. The other thing, more practically, I know somebody had asked a question about you like to have 4 quarterbacks coming into camp. So realistically, we are going to, pending somebody else coming in, we are going to get a decent look at this guy. He's going to get, I don't want to say a realistic shot, because let's be serious. Unless there is a Malik Willis trade on the horizon, I can't imagine that happening. But should be able to get a look at him and see what he's got going for him. Again, we got Jordan Love and Malik. That's probably going to be the 1-2. Sean Clifford, I doubt they carry 3, so presumably practice squad unless he finds a new home. But that's probably going to be the layout. But anyways, the point is he's probably going to get an extended look. He's not going to be a short-term, he'll be gone by next week kind of thing. Just assuming. I don't know. We'll see. But big dude out of Canada, Wilfrid Laurier, reportedly received over a dozen rookie camp invites, but he chose Green Bay, although he is going to visit with Buffalo next week, so we'll see how that goes. But Matt LaFleur said he had a live arm, a lot to like about him. During Saturday's drills, Elgersma received significant attention from quarterback coach Sean Mannion. That's right, we got Sean Mannion again, which is, that's pretty cool. We did lose a quarterback coach, but I'm actually pretty excited about Sean Mannion, as well as passing game specialist Connor Lewis and senior assistant Luke Getsy. Yeah, we got him too. Man, we have so much. Like I said, Luke Getsy, he did the thing. Our whole coaching philosophy, which I freaking love right now, is to find the guys who overextend. Find the really good DB coach that goes and becomes a defensive coordinator and is terrible, like Derek Ansley. Go find a defensive line coach that is going to be a defensive coordinator and it doesn't pan out, and you bring him back to be your defensive line coach, like DeMarcus Covington, who, as I said, last year when he was the defensive coordinator, people were saying, watch out for this guy to get head coaching interviews. But apparently things went so poorly as a defensive coordinator for the freaking Patriots, he got fired and is now taking a step back, and we reap the benefits of that. We got Jeff Hafley, who's a head coach that was essentially disgruntled because he didn't want to be in college anymore, as our defensive coordinator. We have Boston College linebackers coach and defensive line coach. Sean Duggan was the linebackers coach in Boston College. He came over as an assistant coach last year, got promoted to linebackers coach this year, which I'm excited about because I don't think we had super good linebackers coaches. Granted, they did well last year, but I just think we had good players, a better scheme, good defensive coordinator, but we probably have better people that can help implement that. And Vince Ogabasi was the defensive line coach who essentially took a demotion. He is the assistant defensive line coach behind the defensive coordinator defensive line coach, DeMarcus Covington. And actually, it's pass game coordinator Derek Ansley and DB coach Ryan Downard. Either way. We had interim head coach Rich Bisaccia as our special teams coordinator. I understand some people are not happy with our special teams, but he is one of the most beloved coaches in the entire NFL. He's a great culture guy, if nothing else. And the special teams has looked good at times. I think things fell apart when certain people started sucking. Like, hey, the special teams is looking good, and he fumbled the freaking ball. Okay, all right. Well, now our stats don't look super great. We got Luke Getsy coming back. If nothing else, massively familiar with this system because he was here with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers for the entire time that Matt LaFleur was here. Everybody thought he was some kind of a wonder. So the Chicago Bears made him the offensive coordinator. It was a disaster, probably because the players sucked, but still, he was in over his head with that whole thing. After that failure, he went to the Raiders, and then that failed. And so the Packers are like, hey man, why don't you come on back? You can be our senior assistant. Sean Mannion's a little bit different. He's sort of like one of those guys that everybody knew when he was playing football, this guy's going to be a coach one day. Minnesota really wanted him, and the Packers scooped him up, let him sit for a year behind a legendary quarterbacks coach. That quarterbacks coach decided to retire, and now Sean Mannion is going to take over. I'm not mad about this coaching staff, dude, especially the defensive coaching staff, and I love the strategy of finding guys that overextended, went and got jobs they weren't really qualified for, but are massively qualified for the job that, like defensive coordinator, DB coach, pass game court, whatever. Very good at that, which is why they got the DC job or the head coaching job. But when that didn't work, it's like, what do? Well, you go back and dominate at that level. And, some of these guys are going to get hired away, maybe. But the great thing, like we had a guy get hired away to be the defensive coordinator somewhere. I forget exactly where. These guys are going to have a hard time getting hired again, promoted again, because that experiment failed. Do you want Derek Ansley to be your defensive coordinator? Did you see how terribly that went? Maybe DeMarcus Covington gets a second shot, but he's not going to be top of people's lists. They're looking for somebody that hasn't failed yet. They're not going to go find a guy that already failed and say, hey, try it with us. I mean, they might, but we might just have these guys locked up for a while. Anyways, I'm just saying, I just get excited sometimes about some stuff, But anyways, tons of attention was paid to him. I even saw Matt LaFleur over there. And it's interesting, too, because you see these guys go through stuff and you can see how raw they are. It was actually kind of interesting. I watched this tape, and they're showing them just little things. Savion Williams was lining up, and they were showing him how to release off the line. And it was like you got to sink down and explode out kind of thing. And like it was very nuanced and basic. And Savion Williams lined up one time and the guy grabbed his foot and moved it back like a half a centimeter. Like, no, back here. Like, bro, what? And like the release is wrong. It's like, no, a big jump step out there. All these basic. Then I'm just scrolling through social media and I see Romeo Doubs, like a highlight of the Packers, and Romeo Doubs is out there doing stuff, and these guys, and you're watching it, and it's like, oh my, especially after watching college players, and you get an idea of what a good college player looks like, and then I watched Romeo Doubs, and it's like, bro, this guy, that's like a first round pick. This guy's so freaking good. He's so smooth, and Christian Watson even, he had, I'm just picturing in my mind, Christian Watson's that guy that runs past people. This was a sideline shot. The body control to twist his body and toe tap 2 feet down. It's like, holy crap. These guys are on such a, I think in my mind and a lot of people's minds, it's like we have these guys and they're okay, and then we drafted guys and they're going to be great. The gap right now between what Romeo and Dontavian and Christian and Jaden can do in this offense, the way that they want it to be done, in the way that you beat NFL defensive backs, the gap between what they know and can do and the guys that we have today is massive. And the job of our coaches right now is to rapidly close that gap. They might be able to line up and just do the crazy stuff and still win, but they have so much to learn. And the quicker they can learn it, the quicker we can maybe see these guys explode and become great players. But that's going to be the job, is to tweak these things and do it fast. Because if you told me today there's a football game, I kind of want Romeo, and Christian's hurt, but Romeo, Christian, Jaden, that's golden. Let's give him some time. Savion especially, he was getting a lot of coaching tips. But you watch these guys, and it's kind of like when Jordan first got here, and people were laughing at it. Like, dude, his footwork is so bad. You watched Rodgers, and I forget who the backup was at the time. They were in sync. Every step, every fraction of a second was exactly synchronized the way that they coached them to do it. Jordan looked like he was lost out there. What is that Pixar movie? I don't know, it popped into my head. The one where they, I think it's called Sing. I don't know if it's, are there two of them or whatever? I don't know. But anyways, there's the frickin' gorilla guy, the young gorilla, you can sing and everything. And he's in this dance class and he just sucks and he's falling down and the guy keeps making, he hates him. Anyway, that's what it's like. He didn't know what to do. And we all were just like, oh, he's going to be a bust. It's going to be terrible. These things take a long time. It's not just learn the plays. Like, okay, if I call this play, you run this route. It's so much more than that. They're watching Savion line up and the guy has to grab his foot and move it back a centimeter. Like, no. Like this, dummy. Jeez, what are you, freaking born in a barn? This is garbage. Where'd you learn to play football? Culinary school? Come on, dude. Was this interpretive dance? Let's go. Anyways, I'm in a weird freaking ranty mood today. I think they call it neuroticism. Isn't it? When you're kind of neurotic. What does neurotic mean? This is an example of the problem today. having, caused by, or relating to neurosis. That doesn't help me jag off. What is neurosis? Mental condition not caused by organic disease involving symptoms of stress, depression, anxiety, obsessive behavior, hypochondria, but not a radical loss of touch with reality. All right, I'm not sure we're quite to that point. What are we talking about here? So he's working with all the coaches, showcases arm strength, ability to throw on the move from various angles, throwing passes to trainers and into nets. LaFleur acknowledged the big learning curve coming from Canadian University, which is roughly equivalent to a Division III school, but praised Elgersma's work ethic and love for the game, evident during the top 30 pre-draft visit. Extensive coach focus suggests the team sees potential worth developing, blah, 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 right? These are all obvious. We're trying to make a big thing out of nothing because there's really nothing. But he was kind of highlighted as somebody that got a lot of attention. The coaches talked about a lot. It seems like they like him a lot. Official Packers 2025 UDFA signings. Cornerback Jonathan Baldwin, tackle Brant Banks, safety Kazir Brown, guard Tyler Cooper, cornerback Tyron Herring, running back Amar Johnson, linebacker Jamon Dumas Johnson, guard J.J. Lippy, defensive lineman Nazir Stackhouse, running back Jalen White. PFF also lists wide receiver Julian Fleming out of Penn State, but he doesn't appear on the official team list. I don't know. I'll look into that. Top guys to pay attention to. We kind of talked about it, but it's worth kind of running through again. Nazir Stackhouse out of Georgia, teammate of the 6th-round pick Warren Brinson. Kind of surprised that he went undrafted. He was ranked pretty highly by some analysts. Dane Brugler, for example, had him at 211, considered a strong candidate to make the roster. I've said that already. I think that there's a pretty good chance he could actually make it. At the very least, he's a practice squad guy. Running back Amar Johnson out of South Dakota State. He was an FCS All-American with impressive production, 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, 30 receptions, and 4.39 speed. Let's go. Reportedly felt the love from Green Bay during the draft process. An insider identified him as a UDFA the team may really, really like. Guard Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota and guard J.J. Lippy out of Northern Illinois, two Wisconsin natives signed as UDFAs. Cooper was PFF's number 202 prospect, which is, that's a draftable grade. Lippy called signing with his childhood team a lifelong dream. Cooper is also considered a potential roster maker. So he went to Minnesota, which, there's a whole rivalry there, but he's a Wisconsin kid. So same with Lippy, Northern Illinois. He's went to Illinois school, but these are Wisconsin guys, so somebody to root for. And then Jamon Dumas Johnson, a lot of people really like him, is a linebacker out of Kentucky, transferred from Georgia, ESPN's number 216 prospect, also viewed as having a shot at the roster. And then cornerback Jonathan Baldwin of UNLV, productive slot corner with ball skills, 3 interceptions, 13 pass breakups in 2024. Very obvious what the defensive coordinator is looking for. And tackling ability, earned all Mountain West honors, considered a sleeper to make the 53-man roster. Some other notes from minicamp. The punter, talked about him, 6'9" punter Brendan Hall, who was among the tryout players that was turning heads. That's the guy that had video of him in high school making like 75-yard freaking field goals. He even says, as far as being tall, and, as J.K. Scott, I think, was super tall. I don't know, 6'7" or something crazy. But he's like, it's physics. You got a long leg, you got a long lever, you can drive some power. Obviously, we like Daniel Whalen, but it'll be a fun competition to watch. Everybody's going to love watching some guys boot the living crap out of a football. 6 picks have signed their contracts so far, which is quite a lot, actually. There's usually some holdouts, and we'll see if that happens. But, it's very early to have 6 of your picks already signed. Savion Williams, Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Warren Brinson, Micah Robinson, and John Williams. First-round picks Matthew Golden and second-round pick Anthony Belton remain unsigned as of the start of camp. No new updates on Jair Alexander. I think everybody, with all the up and down, I think everybody's kind of all over the map on this one. I'm still currently leaning toward... I'm so torn because it feels like he's obviously gone on one side. I think the team is done with him. I don't think Jair wants to be here. That's sort of the obvious thing. But at the same time, when you take the emotion out of it, I'm looking at it and say, where are you going to go, dude? Just stay. It's the only place you're going to make money. It's a massive contract here in Green Bay. And maybe the Packers will refuse to let him stay on that contract, which I get it. I understand there's a whole fiscal responsibility thing, but we have the money. Just take the hit and be like, yeah, we're overpaying a guy. What can you do? Oh, well. Freaking oh, well. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'd be a bad GM. All right. So that is, I think we're all kind of up to date on everything. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back. and we'll take an official look at our final pick, John Williams, our new depth piece on the interior offensive line that's ready to shock the world and win a starting job as we bench first rounders. First and second rounders, you sit. We'll be right back. So why don't we actually start with a recap of PFF. As I mentioned, this guy is about as Green Bay Packers as it gets. The 6'5", 320 thing might be different, but boy, oh boy, if you're looking for a guy that is a elite pass rusher and a meh run defender, yeah. It's funny because both of the oversized guys we got, it's like, yeah, I mean, they're big road graders that can't pass block. It's like, no, literally both of them grade out better as pass blockers than run blockers. Just being oversized doesn't make you a great run blocker. It maybe gives you potential, but, I mean, it is what it is. But 86.3 PFF grade this past year in pass blocking, 65.7 run blocking grade. The year before, 75 pass blocking, 64 run blocking. The year before, 80. Oh, wait, he didn't really play the prior 3 years, but 75 and 86 pass blocking, 64 and 65 run blocking. He gave up this past year one sack, 1 hit, 6 hurries, 8 total pressures, 99 pass blocking efficiency, had 2 penalties. He has played 1,756 snaps at left tackle, 64 at right tackle, 0 snaps anywhere on the interior. So that's kind of going to be the problem because I don't think at this point that there's any reason to believe he's playing at tackle. So he will be learning a brand new position. But going through a couple of the notes here, Green Bay Packers' final pick of the draft, which is hosted in Green Bay, selecting offensive lineman John Williams out of Cincinnati. Pick was number 250, which was a compensatory pick awarded to the Packers due to the net loss of free agents in the previous season. Williams arrives in Green Bay following a collegiate career where he established himself as a durable and highly effective 2-year starting left tackle for the Bearcats. Despite his extensive experience protecting the blind side, the consensus among pre-draft analysts, and indeed the Packers' own announcement upon drafting him, projects a transition to the guard position at the professional level. The immediate narrative frames Williams as a prospect with a solid foundation in pass protection, but with athletic and physical traits deemed better suited for interior play in the NFL. Also, including Anthony Belton in there really solidifies him as a backup depth piece. John Williams presents a physical profile aligning with NFL standards for interior offensive linemen. 6'4" 1/8 inches tall, 322 pounds, described as squat, dense frame, whatever that means, capable of absorbing contact. That's the same language they used for Anthony Belton. He can absorb contact. He's got 33 7/8 inch arms, notably large 11-inch hands, and an 81.5-inch wingspan. He ran the 40-yard dash in 5.17 seconds with a 10-yard split of 1.8 seconds. His performance on the bench press was a standout, completing 29 reps at 225 pounds, the mark tied for the 4th best among offensive linemen and 6th best overall at the Combine, falling in the 91st percentile for the position and highlighting significant upper body strength. I do like that. I'll always think of Corey Linsley. Just that whole thing was like this dude could bench a freaking car. And I was like, I don't know if he can play, but it's just kind of cool. He ended up being quite good. However, his agility scores were less impressive. A 4.72 second short shuttle, 7.933 cone. These times suggest limitations in lateral quickness and change of direction ability. He had an RAS of 7.6 out of 10, which is really not terrible for a 7th round pick at 322 pounds. It's an above average score, but falls short of the elite athleticism. Native of Bolingbrook, Illinois, Williams attended Bolingbrook High School. Academically, he pursued a challenging major in aerospace engineering at Cincinnati, a field that suggests high cognitive ability and analytical skills. His intellectual capacity was noted by scouts, with one report describing him as exceptionally bright and really, really smart. Such intelligence could prove invaluable as he transitions to a new position and learns the complexities of the NFL offensive scheme, potentially allowing him to compensate for physical limitations through superior technique and understanding. He was a consensus 3-star recruit coming out of high school, considered only lightly recruited with offers from programs like Northern Illinois, Kansas State, Temple, before choosing Cincinnati. His journey from a moderately rated recruit to a highly effective collegiate starter and eventual NFL draft pick suggests a strong work ethic and a positive developmental trajectory. That is kind of an interesting note that I hadn't super considered. When you're kind of a long shot to go to school, and then you're a long shot to start and produce, which makes you, a long shot to get drafted, there's sort of an evidence of, even though you're kind of on the back end all the time, you're always overachieving. There's a lot of 3 stars that just kind of fade out and don't really make it to the NFL, certainly don't get drafted. So there's something to be said about the ability. Everybody likes the 5-star recruits that make it into the pros, and you get them, and it's like, oh man, you get all that talent that we've been watching since they were in high school. But there is something kind of cool about the underdogs that consistently make it to the finish line. He appeared in 52 total games, demonstrating remarkable durability and availability. After redshirting as a true freshman in 2020, playing in 4 contests, he saw increased action in 2021, playing in 12 games. During that season, which saw Cincinnati make history as the first group of 5 teams to reach the college football playoffs, Williams serves primarily as a backup right tackle and special teams contributor, but notably started the first 3 games at left tackle due to injuries or rotations. He became the 14th member of the playoff team to eventually be selected in the NFL draft. In 2022, he continued in a reserve tackle and special teams role, appearing in 12 games and missing only the contest against Indiana. 2023 season marked Williams' ascent to a full-time starting role as he seized the left tackle position and held it down for the entirety of the final 2 collegiate seasons. He started 24 consecutive games at left tackle to conclude his Bearcats career. Cincinnati head coach Scott Satterfield explicitly praised Williams' toughness and durability, stating, quote, "He never missed a game since I got here," referring to the 2 seasons, 2023 and 2024, under Satterfield's tenure. The consistent availability is a crucial asset for an offensive lineman, enduring continuity and maximizing developmental opportunities. During his time as a left tackle, he established himself as one of the most effective pass blockers in college football. He became known as, quote, "dependable blindside protector," and allowed a remarkably low total of just 3 sacks over his final 2 seasons, 24 starts, encompassing 833 pass blocking snaps, according to PFF. His performance peaked in the 2024 season, where he surrendered only 1 sack. We talked about that. And that was in 441 pass blocking opportunities. It resulted in an exceptional 1.8% pressure rate allowed, which ranked 2nd among all FBS offensive tackles with a maximum of 400 pass blocking snaps. PFF assigned him an 85.2 pass blocking grade for the 2024 season, the 4th highest among Big 12 tackles. Furthermore, he allowed only a single quarterback hit throughout the entire 2024 campaign and achieved a sterling 99% block efficiency rate per some analysis. The elite pass protection production followed a strong 2023 season where he allowed 2 sacks and 14 pressures. We talked about that already. While excelling in pass protection, Williams contributed to a productive Cincinnati rushing attack. In 2023, the Bearcats ranked 5th nationally in rushing offense, averaging 217.1 yards per game, which is wild. His presence helped pave the way for running back Corey Kiner to achieve consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons, accumulating 1,047 yards in 2023 and 1,153 yards in 2024. In 2024, however, the offense ranked 6th in the Big 12 in total offense, 420.6 yards per game. However, while Williams was clearly a functional part of the success, the absence of specific individual run-blocking accolades or frequent positive mentions in scouting reports regarding his run game impact suggests his contributions was likely more about executing assignment within the scheme, which, again, there's not a whole lot of praise about it. There's not a lot talking about it, and according to PFF, he wasn't bad. In fact, his worst graded game, which is a positive, was a 54.5 against TCU, which is still basically exactly average. So it's not like, Sean Ryan, where it's like a 90 and a 20 and then a 4 and then a 95 and then a 6 and then an 80. It's just 60, 60, 60, 60, 55, 60, 60, 77, 55, 84, 61, 55. That's basically it. And I'll freaking take that for a guy with an 86 pass blocking grade. He had 1 bad pass blocking game against Colorado. He gave up 2. That was not even the game where he gave up a sack, but they gave him a 47.9 pass blocking grade. 2 hurries was all he gave up, but I guess he was kind of getting whooped in that. I don't really know. Don't care. In terms of recognition beyond stats, Williams earned invitations to the prestigious NFL Scouting Combine and the Shrine Bowl, providing platforms to showcase his abilities to NFL teams. He also received the internal team honor of Iron Bearcat Award for outstanding performance in the weight room during the winter of 2024. Scouts consistently praised his quick footwork out of his stance, allowing him to rapidly close space on defenders. One particularly notable observation highlighted his capacity to play with full hand extension while simultaneously keeping his feet moving. Beyond technique, Williams possesses significant cognitive strengths. Kind of talked about that already. John Williams enters the Green Bay Packers offensive system under head coach Matt LaFleur that demands intelligence and adaptability from its linemen. The scheme employs a diverse run game featuring both zone concepts, wide outside zone, and gap schemes, pin and pull duo, frequently setting up play-action passes. Williams noted intelligence and cognitive ability should aid his assimilation of the playbook and complex assignments. His well-documented pass protection skills are a significant asset in an offense focused on protecting quarterback Jordan Love. However, his ultimate success within the scheme hinges heavily on his development as a run blocker. He must improve his ability to generate movement and effectively execute blocks in both zone and gap concepts to fully align with the offense's foundational principles. We'll leave it at that. I think we've covered it. This is a heck of a summary here, man. I had AI. I was burning out their freaking chips over there, putting these scouting reports together. This is thorough as all heck. But anyways. I should put these together and put them on Patreon or something. This is some in-depth stuff. It's even got citations at the bottom if you wanted the works cited page. I always hated doing that crap. All right. Tell you what, why don't we take a break here? We'll come back. We'll work on some of the press conference stuff. Again, I think there's maybe... Oh, shoot, I lost it. Dang it, I got to go back and find it again. Had to do the old computer reboot because I might have been playing a game and a freaking graphics card went out and all that stuff. Anyways, I got to find that again. And then obviously he did his own press conference, so we'll at least do that. But we'll take a break and we'll be right back. Now, fortunately, I've been through these interviews so many times, I remembered that it was the last question for Brian Gutekunst, so it was easy to find this little cut here.
What traits did you like about Williams?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What traits did you like about Williams?
You're talking about Savion?
No, your tackle.
Oh, John. The last one, yeah. So John got great length, exceptionally bright, right? Really, really, really smart.
There you go.
He's got the versatility to play left tackle and guard. He probably could play center because he's smart enough to. He's one of the few guys that can really play with full extension with his hands and is moving his feet at the same time. And again, we were down there in the 7th round, and it was like we were just really, really. It's unusual for a guy that can play tackle and guard, play 4 spots for you, to be down there at that spot. So that's kind of what we liked into him. Yeah,
All right, then we'll close out with his one-on-one interview here.
How's the indoctrination going? What do you think?
I think it's going pretty well. Love it so far. So yeah.
You came in on a visit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did.
How does that put you? 5 of the 8 rookies that got drafted all visited. Do you feel like that gives you guys a little head start? Not everything's wide-eyed and brand new.
It definitely helps. Being able to know my way around because things happen fast in the minicamp. So knowing my way around between meetings and stuff, it's definitely helped me a lot.
I guess take us back to that visit when you met with the Packers. What were things that they talked about that they liked about your game, and kind of what were those conversations like?
Big point for me was just my flexibility, like being able to play multiple positions, which I think is probably why they picked me. Just the ability to hopefully help out wherever I'm needed. I think that's the biggest upside for me.
How did you demonstrate in college? You play all those because you pretty much game-wise you were in position. Game I only played left tackle, but I practiced at all 5
at some point in college, so that was a big talking point for me. Sure. So now they're putting it to the test, and I think I can do pretty well, so we'll see.
So you practiced a lot at center?
Yeah, well, a little bit at center in college. I'm not going to say I was
Whoever's controlling the camera just zoomed into his soul. Watch that video.
I practice a little bit, though, yeah.
I got you.
But John, you obviously don't know the history here, but they take left tackles all the freaking time here and put them somewhere else. So that is a crucial thing to be able to do. How much work could you have gotten, though, when you're also probably your best offensive lineman. That's why they played you at left tackle. So how much work are we talking during the season?
Well, when I was this past season, it was I played exclusively left tackle. But when I was a younger guy, not playing as much, that's when I was more rotating between different positions, getting experience at all the different spots.
One of the things Goody said after he drafted you was that usually a guy like you who can play all those spots isn't still sitting there on the board. Was that what was draft day like for you? Were you expecting to be taken better, higher, or how did it
Honestly,
play out?
I really wasn't expecting anything. I mean, I said the entire time, all I hope is that I get drafted, and I did. So I'm not really worried about, I should have been 4th round. I'm just happy to be here,
And it's all about where you fit in, right? So
Absolutely.
So when you look at where, and I know you got a lot of time to figure it out, but when you look at where you landed, how does it feel early on here in terms of a fit for you?
It feels great. I love it. I love the atmosphere. Everybody's dedicated to winning, and that's what I love. So I can't wait.
Come for a pre-draft visit. You're trying to make an impression on them. What type of impression did the city leave on you during your time there?
I would say, one thing I love is that the fans are the owners. It's clear, like just getting off the plane when you're coming here. Everybody knows who you are, and they automatically love you just because you're a Packer, and I love that. It's like more of a college feel, and yeah, I love it.
There was some viral videos from some of the prospects who were visiting last week. Cam White said, hey, there's nothing to do here. Do you get a different sense of this, or do you like the fact that it's ball over everything here?
I love it. It's all ball. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to have fun if you can find them, but hey, it's all ball. That's what we're here for, so.
Mix of veterans and younger guys on that O-line. What are you hoping to kind of gain in terms of picking the brains of those that have been here for a while, but also learning with those younger guys?
Yeah, definitely learning from the older guys, trying to pick up some tips and tricks where I can, and then just contributing wherever there's a void. Stepping in that position, just helping out. I just want to win at the end of the day.
How cool is it knowing behind you is Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs, two guys that have, especially last year, but Josh has been in this league for a while. He's been well revered, and Jordan, on the come up.
It's pretty wild. I met him yesterday, and it was like, well, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's definitely awesome. It's good to know that you got those guys back there that can really do their job, and yeah, it encourages you to do your job.
Have you had an opportunity to connect with any of the other offensive linemen yet?
Yeah, a couple of the veteran guys, yeah, and everybody seems good. So.
Have you met Sean Ryan yet? Because I feel like you guys might be competing for best hair.
I have not yet, but I'd love to see the hair. I would love to see it.
What was that first conversation like with Jordan? Just meeting the guy that you'll be protecting.
It was short. It was just an introduction, but I mean, it was good. Obviously, I know him, seen him play, so I know what he's capable of. I just hope that I can contribute.
After the draft, you had mentioned your growth over the last year in protection specifically. What did you attribute that to, the steps forward you took?
I would attribute that to our O-line coach, Nick Cardwell at Cincinnati. He did a great job implementing new systems for our pass protection. Yeah.
Did that best suit your skill set?
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of gave me the confidence to play and be who I could be.
You didn't play in your bowl game, so obviously it's been a while since you got on the field. How much are you looking forward to tomorrow, just getting on the field and getting to kind of run around a little bit?
I'm looking forward to it a lot. I can't wait. Yeah.
Hey, John, obviously your degree was a talking point when you got drafted. You're obviously a very bright guy. If it wasn't football, what would you be doing?
I'd want to work somewhere like Lockheed Martin or like SpaceX in like a research division. Yeah, something like that.
So I'm curious, obviously your coaches all know you're a really bright guy. So do they expect a whole lot less learning mistakes than maybe a typical rookie? I mean, sometimes can all those brains work against you a little bit?
Yeah, I'd say that. There's definitely a chance of overanalyzing things, but when you're a smart guy, you got to be a smart guy. You got to show it. So hopefully, I don't expect too many learning mistakes because there's going to be some. But I'm a bright guy. I'll pick it up fast. We'll be good.
So why aerospace engineering? Like, how did that become the major?
Honestly, loved it since I was a kid. Well, loved science since I was a kid, and just naturally, as I grew up, kind of narrowed it down to what I wanted to do.
So, John, as someone who's not a bright guy, how did that help you in terms of picking up playbooks and all that kind of the football side of using your intelligence?
It helps a lot, I would say a big part of just intelligence is pattern recognition, which helps a lot in football. Seeing fronts and schemes and understanding what needs to happen. it helps a lot.
So would Fickle obviously would have recruited you to Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, he
still
did.
There, and now obviously he's at Wisconsin.
Yes.
Did you, I don't know, maybe having gone to Wisconsin, maybe our aeronautics and engineering and that stuff aren't good enough. Did you consider leaving
No.
when he left?
No.
You because it was just a better fit for you at Cincinnati, or
Well, I'm
because there
not-
were a lot of Bearcats who did leave.
I'm just not the kind of person to leave. No disrespect to the guys that did leave. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got to do what's right for them. That's just never been me. I started at Cincinnati. I'm going to finish it at Cincinnati.
You mentioned that whoa moment when you see Josh and Jordan as a rookie. How do some of y'all get past that initial starstruck moment and realize, hey, we're in the same locker room now, we're teammates, we're at the same level?
Well, I've only been here for like 24 hours, so I'm not sure how we get past that yet, but I'm working on it, so I'll let you know.
How much have you paid attention to the Packers and what they've been able to do the last couple seasons?
A lot. We watched a lot of film at Cincinnati on the Packers just because we kind of have a similar offensive scheme, so we've definitely seen a lot of their stuff and was loving it, yeah.
And when you watched like the offensive line, what kind of stuck out to you about what they do?
Well, I'm not going to give you any like scheme stuff, but I mean, like I said, it was just a very similar play style. You could tell that they have a similar philosophy here that we did at Cincinnati.
You kind of talked about getting over the starstruck of it. Just what is it like joining such a legacy, football program in the NFL?
I mean, it's great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously there's the pressure of expectations, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, it makes you step up to the plate.
John, you mentioned your flexibility. Has anybody here said anything specific to you about where they want you to begin in terms of your position?
I mean, nothing specific. I just know that I'm going to be expected to play a lot of different positions and help out wherever I can.
Have you ever played center?
I've practiced at center when I was a younger guy, yeah.
Is that something they mentioned they felt like you could play every position. Does that seem doable to you to be able to play center?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
John, I don't want to make an assumption off of 8 minutes of talking to you, but you seem to have a little bit of personality, and you seem like you might be a little bit fun. Is that your philosophy on playing the game of football? Obviously, you take it very seriously and want to succeed. But
right.
Is fun a key component for you as well, or am I just making an accurate assumption?
Fun definitely helps. You know, I mean, it's hard to love the game if you're not always having fun. But there are some moments that aren't fun. Some things are hard and they're not fun. And those are the things that you usually have to do the best. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I love to have fun. Everybody loves to have fun when they play football, but at the end of the day, it is a job. You know, you got a job to do, and you got to get it done the right way.
So, in your dream scenario, I know it's like day 2 of your NFL, or day 1.5 of your NFL career, but you play this game for a decade, and then you actually do go in to NASA or SpaceX, or I mean, is that kind of what your brain would think if it was ideal?
Dream scenario. I'd never have to use my degree. That's my dream scenario.
Really? Okay.
But I mean, if I have to use it, then I'll use it. But the dream scenario is I can just play football for the rest of my life. But obviously, that's never going to happen. So yeah, probably hopefully play as long as I can, and then go get a real job. Yeah.
How did your family feel about being here and just this opportunity?
They were ecstatic. I mean, yeah, they were very excited. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. Very excited.
Who was probably the most excited?
Definitely my mom. My mom was hype. Yeah. So.
More hype than you?
I was more shocked than hype. She definitely beat me when it came to like the excitement factor. I was kind of just like, what? Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about him. I mean, you know how I feel about 7th round picks in general, but considering we are lacking in depth on the interior, considering the Packers seem to really like him, considering he's very intelligent, I think they're going to give him a lot of opportunities to learn. So I don't think, as far as is he going to get cut, immediately or whatever, or anytime soon, I really don't think so. And so obviously it's going to take him some time, even as an intelligent guy, to cross-train a little bit, take that step, and also take that step, to a new position, plus the big step up to the NFL. But I'm pretty excited about him. And, the fact that he went to Cincinnati, which apparently is a similar philosophy to the Green Bay Packers, I think also will help a lot. So we'll see. We'll see. Have to keep an eye on that guy for sure. But I'm going to get out of here. We are officially done with all the prospects. I will talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.